The night came with a storm that swallowed the world in silver rain and trembling shadows. Luna ran through the mud, her fur soaked, her breath shallow, calling out for a heartbeat she could no longer hear. The fields glimmered like broken glass under flashes of lightning, every echo reminding her of the kitten she had left behind. Somewhere, under the ruined roof of an old barn, Ash mewed once and fell silent. Luna stopped, her eyes wide with terror, her body shaking from more than cold. Something inside her whispered that love could arrive too late. What if the dead never left, only waited for you to listen? If time could rewind one memory, which one would destroy you? Would you accept a miracle if it demanded a sacrifice? As thunder rolled, Luna lifted her face toward the wind, her cry rising into the night, and the storm seemed to answer her back. The rain softened by dawn, leaving behind a world washed pale and trembling. Luna reached the old barn at last, her paws sinking into cold straw, her body shivering with exhaustion. She called once, twice, her voice small against the silence that followed. A faint scent still lingered, her kitten, Ash. She searched every corner, the air heavy with loss, her fur brushing against forgotten tools and the damp breath of the storm. The sky turned gray above the broken roof, as though mourning with her. Every heartbeat echoed the emptiness she feared. That love had come one breath too late. The world seemed to pause with her, waiting for something that would not return. Somewhere far away, a girl's laughter faded into memory, and Luna's cry broke again, softer now, like the whisper of a goodbye. Marisol walked along the dirt path, her shoes damp from last night's rain, her small hands clutching a torn red umbrella. She was 11, too quiet for her age, and the world still felt strange since her brother's laughter disappeared. She stopped when she saw a shape on the road, a kitten, silver-furred, trembling beside a puddle. Ash. She bent down slowly, her heart twisting between pity and something she didn't understand. When she lifted him, he was light as air, warm but fading. "It's okay," she whispered, though her voice broke, as if she spoke to herself. The clouds thinned above her, sunlight touching the field in small trembling patches, and she knew she couldn't walk away. Luna wandered beyond the barn, her steps unsteady, guided only by scent and memory. The wind carried traces of something new. Human, soap, the faint smell of cloth and sugar. She paused, ears twitching, eyes sharp with instinct. Somewhere, her kitten still breathed, faint but alive. She pressed forward, hunger forgotten, her body driven by a love that refused to die. The sky opened wider now, streaks of sunlight breaking through clouds, glinting on puddles like tiny mirrors. Luna saw her reflection there, wild and weary, but within it shimmered hope. Fragile, trembling, but enough. She leapt forward, leaving ripples behind, chasing the invisible line that tied her heart to her child's. Marisol sat by the window of her small wooden house, wrapping the kitten in a towel. Her grandmother's old kettle hissed on the stove, filling the air with the scent of tea. Ash's tiny chest rose and fell unevenly, each breath a battle against silence. Marisol spoke softly, telling him about the mango tree outside, about how her brother used to climb it, about how quiet everything became after. She smiled a little, though her eyes didn't. The kitten blinked slowly, as if listening. Outside, the rain had stopped, And somewhere far across the fields, Luna lifted her head to the wind. For one moment, both hearts beat in the same rhythm, unaware that fate had already chosen its time. Morning stretched over the village like a sigh, soft and golden, washing away the night's fear. Marisol laid Ash on a folded cloth near the fire, watching his fragile body twitch between dreams and waking. Each breath sounded like paper tearing. She fed him a drop of milk from a spoon, trembling with care. Her grandmother watched from the doorway, silent but knowing that some things, even love, could not undo what time had begun. Outside, the wind carried a distant cry, Luna's voice faint and echoing through the hills. Marisol froze, unsure if she had truly heard it. Ash stirred, his paw twitching, as if reaching towards something unseen. Two worlds brushed against each other, fragile as breath, the living and the lost finding each other through sound. Luna moved along the fields, her paws pressing into the soft earth. Every scent told her pieces of a story. Wet grass, human trails, and something faintly familiar, like milk and fabric. She followed it through the edges of the village, where children's voices echoed and smoke curled into the sky. Her fur bristled at the sound of dogs barking in the distance. But she kept moving, her belly low, her breath steady, her eyes never leaving the path. The world of humans frightened her, yet love made her brave. When she reached the edge of a wooden fence, she paused, trembling. Beyond it, she could sense her kitten. She could almost hear his heartbeat again. Small but steady, calling her home. Dr. Bega leaned over the counter, her clinic filled with quiet hums of machines and the smell of antiseptic. Marisol entered timidly, holding the towel-wrapped kitten to her chest. "He is very weak, doctor," Bega murmured, her voice kind but heavy. She examined Ash carefully, her practiced hands gentle yet certain. Marisol watched every move, holding her breath. "We can try," the doctor said. "But sometimes, trying means letting go when the time comes." Marisol nodded, not understanding, but pretending she did. Outside, the sky dimmed as clouds rolled in again, and through the open window, the faint cry of a mother searching for her child drifted in like a ghost. Luna reached the outskirts of the clinic by dusk. The scent of her kitten was strong now, mixed with human touch and medicine. She hid beneath a parked cart, watching the glowing window above. Inside, she saw shadows, the small outline of Ash, the shape of a girl beside him. Her body tensed, tail twitching, heart racing, faster than the rain that began again. Every instinct screamed to run inside, yet something sacred held her still. Through the glass, she saw Marisol's hand stroking Ash's fur. For a moment, Luna felt calm, seeing him loved, safe. Her eyes softened. Our love was no longer hers, alone. The night deepened into silence. Marisol sat beside Ash, her hand resting gently on his tiny chest, feeling the faint beat beneath her palm. The storm whispered outside, gentle now like a lullaby. She hummed a song her brother used to sing, one about stars and promises. In the dark, Luna's eyes watched through the window, glowing faintly, unblinking. Their worlds separated by glass and fear, yet joined by love so strong, it bent the distance between them. Ash breathed once, twice, his paw twitching toward the light. For that heartbeat of time, everything was whole, the living, the lost, and the ones who still hoped. Before dawn, the village slept under a blanket of fog. Luna curled beneath the clinic window, her body still and her eyes half closed, dreaming of another life. In her dream, the fields were dry and golden, and she was back in a small house where sunlight fell through curtains and her kittens purred against her belly. She remembered soft human hands, a child's laughter, a bowl of milk by the door. Then came the night when everything burned, voices shouting, light flashing, and the door that never opened again. The dream broke, and she woke with a cry too soft for anyone to hear. She lifted her head, breathing in the scent of her lost world. Hope still lived inside her, fragile but fierce, like a spark refusing to die in the ashes. Marisol woke early, ice heavy from crying through the night. The kitten still slept, tiny chest rising slow but steady. She smiled weakly, whispering, "You're a fighter, aren't you?" Her grandmother entered, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders, saying nothing, just touching her hair the way mothers do when words can't help. Outside, the fog shimmered like breath on glass. Marisol carried Ash to the window, showing him the world he'd nearly missed. One day, she said softly, "You'll run there." Her voice trembled, though she didn't know why. Beyond the glass, Luna sat motionless, unseen but listening, her heart breaking with quiet pride. As the sun climbed, Luna followed the sound of church bells into the heart of the village. People passed by without noticing her, a small shadow slipping between legs and baskets. The air smelled of bread and smoke. Every sound startled her, yet she kept moving, drawn by a bond that outlived fear. A child dropped a piece of bread, and Luna paused, hunger winning for a heartbeat. She bit gently, then continued, tail flicking with determination. Somewhere behind her, the old bell stopped ringing, leaving only the echo of her own steps. The streets narrowed into alleys, filled with echoes of laughter and loss. Luna stopped, lifted her head, and the wind carried the faintest trace of milk and warmth. The scent of her kitten. At the clinic, Dr. Vega spoke softly to Marisol, her tone steady but gentle. "He's improving," she said, "but he's very fragile. Keep him warm. Keep him close." Marisol nodded, pressing Ash to her chest, feeling the tiny vibration of his purr. It was small, almost nothing, yet it filled the silence in her heart. As Dr. Vega turned away, Marisol noticed the older woman pause at the window. "Stray cat again," Vega murmured. Luna's silhouette sat just outside in the shade, watching them. Marisol whispered to the kitten, "Someone's waiting for you." And though she didn't understand why, the thought filled her eyes with tears. That evening, Marisol walked home with Ash, tucked inside her jacket, his warmth pressed against her chest. The road glowed with amber light from the setting sun. Behind them, Luna followed at a distance, her steps quiet as shadows. Each time Marisol paused, Luna froze too, her eyes fixed on the child holding her kitten. The village lanterns flickered on one by one, and the wind carried the scent of earth and home. Marisol whispered to the kitten, "I think someone's following us," but smiled as if the thought comforted her. Luna stopped at the last turn before the house, heart caught between leaving and leaping. Above them, the first star appeared, silent witness to a love divided by walls. bound by destiny. Days passed like whispers. Marisol and Ash settled into a rhythm of quiet mornings and long evenings beside the window. The kitten grew stronger, his fur shinier, his eyes brighter. But sometimes, when the wind howled, he froze, staring toward the horizon as if remembering something. Marisol noticed but said nothing. She simply held him closer, afraid of the silence that followed those moments. Luna stayed near the house, sleeping beneath the mango tree, her body thin but her spirit fierce. Each dawn she waited for the sound of a tiny meow, a call that never came. Still, she waited. Because that's what mothers do when hope becomes the only thing left to love. Marisol began taking Ash outside during afternoons. He followed butterflies across the grass, tumbling and mewing with joy. Each laugh from Marisol sounded like the first sound of spring. But Luna watched from behind the tall weeds, silent and still, her tail flicking each time he stumbled. When Ash strayed too far, Luna stepped forward, ready to call. Yet fear of humans held her back. She could only watch, trembling with pride and sorrow. The child and the mother loved the same creature, each believing he belonged to them. The sky turned soft pink as the sun fell, and Luna's eyes glistened like two forgotten stars. That night, the rain returned, gentle at first, then heavier. Marisol hurried to bring Ash inside, wrapping him in an old scarf. Thunder rolled in the distance, reminding her of the night she found him. As she lit a candle, Ash mewed softly, eyes wide, frightened by the sound. Outside, under the same storm, Luna crouched beside the tree, soaked but unmoving. Her eyes followed the light flickering in the window where her kitten slept. Every drop that struck her fur felt like memory clawing its way back. She lifted her head once, cried out softly, and the storm seemed to echo it. A mother calling through time, through rain, through everything she had lost. The following morning, the storm had passed, but something in the air felt heavier. Dr. Vega arrived at the house, carrying medicine and worry. Ash had stopped eating. His breath was uneven again. Marisol's hands shook as she held him, whispering promises he couldn't hear. "I'll fight," she said, though her voice sounded hollow. Vega placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Sometimes they just need to rest," she murmured. Outside the door, Luna sat in silence, feeling the shift in the wind. The world seemed to tilt for both mother and girl, one losing her child, the other losing her light. Night fell again, quieter this time. Marisol sat by the window with Ash sleeping weakly in her lap. The candle burned low, the room filled with the sound of wind through the shutters. She didn't see Luna approach the door, silent as breath, drawn by something deeper than instinct. The cat pressed her nose to the wood, eyes closing as if to feel through it. Inside, Marisol whispered, "Please don't go." Not sure to whom she was speaking. Outside, Luna lowered her head, heart aching in rhythm with the wind. The world held its breath, waiting for dawn to choose between love and loss. Dawn crept in quietly, painting the house with thin threads of light. Marisol hadn't slept. Ash lay still on her lap, his breathing shallow. Each rise and fall a fragile secret. She whispered his name over and over, as if keeping him awake with her voice could keep him alive. Her grandmother stood behind her, eyes soft but full of the truth. No one wanted to speak. Outside, Luna waited beneath the tree, her gaze fixed on the door that never opened. The air was heavy, filled with something sacred, the space between love and loss. The world seemed to listen with them, the wind pausing, the birds silent, as if nature itself refused to interrupt their waiting. Luna dreamed again. This time not of fire or fear, but of the barn when it was whole, of the kitten's first cry. She dreamed of him pressing against her chest, of his small heartbeat sensing with hers. The dream was so real that when she opened her eyes, she could still feel it, pulsing in her fur. The wind brushed past her face like a whisper, carrying the faint scent of her child. She rose slowly, unsteady from hunger, yet something inside her glowed, a thread pulling her toward the house. Her body trembled as she took the first step. The world around her blurred, the line between memory and now fading like smoke in sunlight. Marisol sat by Ash's side, her eyes fixed on his tiny face. "You'll be okay," she whispered, voice cracking. She pressed her palm gently to his chest. It fluttered once, then again, weaker each time. "Doctor," his words echoed in her head. Sometimes trying means letting go. Tears blurred her vision, the room spinning with grief too heavy for a child to hold. Through the open window, a low sound rose. Soft, trembling, familiar. Luna's cry. Marisol looked up, heart thudding. She carried Ash to the window and stopped. On the other side of the glass, the mother was waiting. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Marisol and Luna stared at each other through the thin veil of air, the world holding its breath. The kitten stirred weakly, one paw lifting toward the light. Marisol hesitated, then opened the window wider. Luna stepped forward but didn't climb in. She waited, trembling, her body soaked in rain from the previous night. The wind carried a scent of earth and tears. Marisol lowered Ash into her lap, whispering, "He's yours too." Luna stepped closer, her nose brushing his tiny head. In that instant, time folded, past and present, mother and child, human and creature, all bound by one final heartbeat. The air felt endless. Luna pressed closer, wrapping her body around her kitten for the first time. Her purr rose low and trembling, half cry, half song. Marisol watched, her face wet with silent tears. The world dimmed, colors fading to soft gray, as if light itself bowed in reverence. Ash exhaled once, a sound so faint it might have been wind, then grew still. Luna didn't move, then grew still. Luna didn't move. She kept holding him, her eyes closed, her heart still singing even as it broke. Marisol whispered, "I'm sorry," though she didn't know who she was apologizing to. Outside, the storm clouds opened just enough for a single beam of sunlight to fall across them, golden and forgiving. The world fell into silence after that final breath. Luna remained still, her body curled around Ash, warmth fading between them. Marisol couldn't speak. She simply watched, feeling the same ache that had lived in her since her brother's passing. She reached out a trembling hand and touched Luna's back. The cat didn't flinch. She only lifted her eyes, meeting the girl's gaze with something ancient, something that spoke without sound. But for a heartbeat, Marisol saw not an animal, but a mother. One who understood loss in its purest form. Outside, the sky deepened into violet, and the first stars appeared, trembling like souls waking from sleep. Dr. Vega arrived quietly, her step slow, as if not to disturb the sacred stillness. She knelt beside Marisol and placed a gentle hand on the girl's shoulder. "He's gone," she said softly, though the words felt too small for what had happened. Luna didn't move. Marisol whispered, "Can she stay?" The doctor nodded, eyes down. "Let her have this moment." Outside, the wind shifted, carrying the scent of wet earth and rainbows after storm. The kitten's tiny body rested between them. Human, animal, heaven, and earth, all bound by something that did not die even when breath did. Later, when the house emptied, Luna lifted her head. She looked once at Marisol, then at the window. The wind moved the curtain gently, calling her name in its rustle. She stepped away from the small body, her paws slow, each movement heavy with memory. Marisol opened the door without a word. Luna paused at the threshold, eyes catching the morning light, her fur glowing like mist. For an instant, Marisol thought she saw another figure beside her, a boy's shadow, smiling faintly before fading. Luna turned her head once more toward the bed, then stepped into the wind, carrying the sound of her purr like a farewell. Luna walked through the fields once more, each blade of grass bending under dew. The air felt lighter now, her steps slower but certain. The horizon opened like a promise. She paused at the ridge where she had once searched through rain, her golden eyes scanning the valley. Somewhere deep inside her, she could still feel a heartbeat. Not hers, not his, but something shared, echoing in the rhythm of the world. Above, clouds drifted apart, and a soft warmth touched her fur. She looked up, blinking, as if she recognized the light. Maybe love never leaves. It only changes its shape, waiting to be found again. As the sun climbed, Marisol stood by the window, holding the towel that once kept Ash warm. The house was silent, but not empty. She could still feel him there, in the light, in the quiet rhythm of the wind through the trees. Her grandmother came and wrapped an arm around her. "He found his way home," she said softly. Marisol nodded, smiling through tears. Outside, beneath the manga tree, Luna lay in a patch of sunlight, eyes closed, chest rising slow and steady. The wind stirred the leaves above them, whispering one last promise. Some love never ends. It only becomes the air we breathe. The morning was still. The world hushed as if holding its breath. Luna lay beneath the mango tree, her eyes half open, watching sunlight dance through the leaves. The earth felt warm beneath her body. The air hummed softly with life. Marisol came out quietly, barefoot, her hands empty. She sat a few feet away, neither moving nor speaking. They didn't need words. Between them lay a silence full of understanding, the kind that exists only between souls that have both loved and lost. A single petal drifted from the tree, landing beside Luna's paw. Marisol smiled faintly. "Thank you," she whispered. And for the first time, Luna closed her eyes without fear. Marisol dug a small patch of earth behind the house, the soil rich and dark. Her grandmother helped her lay a smooth stone in the center, marking the place where Ash would rest. There were no tears left, only quiet hands and slow breaths. Luna sat nearby, watching. When the girl placed a single white flower on the mound, the cat stood, walked forward, and brushed her nose against it. The gesture was small, but it felt like the closing of a circle. The wind rose gently, scattering petals across the yard. The world seemed to sigh, not in sadness, but in release. That afternoon, the house filled with laughter again. soft, cautious, like something rediscovered. Marisol helped her grandmother hang wet clothes on the line. Luna sat near the steps, watching birds play in the distance. The emptiness that once haunted the air now shimmered with quiet beauty. When Marisol looked up, she saw a small silver feather caught in the wind. She reached for it, but let it drift away. "He's okay," she said, smiling. Luna blinked slowly, as if she too believed it. The world no longer felt divided. For a moment, even time seemed to rest, content in the peace they had found together. Luna wandered through the fields one last time. The sun hung low, touching everything with gold. The wind carried scents of harvest and distant fires, reminders that life moves on, even when hearts break. She stopped by a puddle, her reflection clear in the still water. For the first time, she didn't look for what was missing. She simply watched, calm and whole. The reflection shimmered, and for a heartbeat, Ash's tiny shape appeared beside her. Luna lowered her head, eyes soft, as if saying goodbye once more. When she lifted it again, only the sky remained, endless, open, and full of light. Night returned, gentle and forgiving. Marisol sat by the window again, the same place where everything began. The stars were bright tonight, countless and near. She thought of her brother, of the kitten, of the mother cat still sleeping beneath the mango tree. The wind carried their names like lullabies. "Maybe they never leave," she murmured. "Maybe they just wait where love remembers them." The candle flickered low, casting soft light on her face. Outside, Luna purred in her sleep, dreaming of warm straw and tiny paws. Somewhere between breath and silence, the world exhaled, and the story finally rested.